Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Billy Carson. If you don't know who Billy Carson is, he runs the Forbidden Project or whatever it is. And he's well known, I guess you could say, for talking about the Sinai Bible and his, I guess, religious beliefs and saying that the Bible is wrong and Jesus didn't rise from the dead. And he's got ample evidence to support all those things. And look, I don't know too much about Billy Carson before the debate performance he had with Wes Huff. It was a terrible debate performance on Billy's behalf. And well, Billy's reaction to having a very terrible debate performance was he made a terrible video that made him look to be like even worse than he was in the actual debate performance. But he's also made another video not too long after that, and he's had Dr. Daniel Amen on his podcast, who is a very well-known psychiatrist, and also his wife wrote the foreword of my book and who happens to be a good friend. Now, I think the whole situation surrounding the Billy Carson debate performance was, look, I understand to some degree you have off days, but me, if I know what I'm talking about, you can, like Joe Rogan said this in the podcast with Wes Huff. Like, if you know your stuff, you can wake him up or you can wake me up at any time of the night, and I can explain to you the things that I know. If I'm an expert on something and I claim to be an expert on something, I know what I know. You can ask me questions about what I know. When it comes down to the trans issue, I'm prepared to answer any question you've got for me because I have researched that, I have spoken to people, I have got countless evidence and things that I can use to go in my favor. So whatever question people have for me, I can answer it. Same thing with the Bible, right? Like, it's one of those things I can defend my salvation and why I believe in what I believe in. So for someone like Billy Carson, who claims to be an expert on the Sinai Bible and how Christ didn't rise from the dead or how Christ doesn't exist and all these other things that he claims, it's amazing to me because he had a shocking debate performance and then he made excuses afterwards as to why he had a terrible debate performance. And he's still making those same excuses and now seemingly even more so. And it's, to me, it just shows pride. It shows that Billy has an ego. He can't admit that he lost. He can't admit that he had, number one, a terrible performance. Number two, he doesn't know jack about God or about the Bible, and he lies. Like, I get it. When it comes to the fact that you claim that you're an expert and you've been leading people a certain way for a long period of time, when you get dismantled on an actual debate, you knew the jig was up, man. It's over with. It's done. And then you attack. It just makes you out to look like the bad person. And then now you're sitting down with a psychiatrist and talking about grief and trauma and the trauma that you experienced going and how you felt ambushed going into the debate performance. Billy, it's what I don't get. You're going into a podcast, you say that you can speak to anyone about anything, right? Like, it shouldn't be a feeling that you have that you've felt ambushed about something that you claim to know a lot about. That's not being ambushed, mate, by someone who knows more than you. That's you acting like an actual coward and allowing your pride to get the better of you. Pride is like this blinder. It convinces us of things that aren't actually true. And instead of admitting defeat, instead of being humble and showing the fact that you don't know as much as you think that you know. But again, Billy's got this reputation and this career that he's built off of knowing stuff. So if you get dismantled and your argument and all that sort of stuff is completely destroyed, what are you going to do? Like, you got nothing now. So of course he's not going to admit it. He's just going to say, oh, I did a bad debate performance. I was ambushed and I felt betrayed by my best friend. I didn't know what was going on. And that makes Billy look even worse. have a watch of these couple of clips from his sit down with Dr. Amen.
We can.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So, I went through a situation recently where I felt kind of ambushed. I didn't feel like it was a situation that was properly set up for me to appear in. I didn't show up as my best self. I was sick. I had just gotten over pneumonia. I was in pneumonia state still. I was still in the healing process. I had just gotten released from the hospital, had a near-death experience. And I felt like someone took advantage of me and took advantage of the situation. And they put me in a situation where I was very uncomfortable, I wasn't sharp, and I wasn't my best. And in that situation, I felt manipulated, and I felt like someone had really betrayed me, someone who I thought was a good friend, somebody I trusted, that I trusted my kids around in their house. And his kid would come to my house. My son and his son are best friends. And for that to happen, it really upset me. More than the anger, it was the betrayal that completely shocked me. I didn't know where it came from or how it happened. And I found myself replaying every communication we've had, every instance where we had conversations or, where we were supposed to interact with each other, or text messages or phone calls, to find, like, what did I do wrong, I was trying to figure out, like, what could I have possibly done to this person to get them in a situation where they felt it was okay to do this to me. So that hurt the most.
Somebody invited you on their podcast?
Yeah.
And there you felt ambushed?
Yes. I felt ambushed. I wasn't given a full scope of what was going on. A person that was to be on that had been, watching a lot of my content over the years, and made a lot of videos going against some of my personal spiritual beliefs, which is okay. It's fine. There's nothing against that.
So if you felt all those things, Billy, if you felt like you were being surrounded, you were being ambushed, you weren't comfortable, couldn't you have just ended the interview, ended the podcast at any moment? But you chose to continue. You chose, I'm going to get Wes Huff at any moment now. Your pride got the better of you. And instead of just going, okay, guys, sorry, I don't feel at my best. I've had a near-death experience. I've just had pneumonia or I've been sick for a long time. You chose to do this podcast. You chose to sit down. You chose to have this sort of debate. And you're saying you're making up excuses. What happened to personal responsibility? That shows people that you are actually worthwhile to follow. Forbidden knowledge, right? Forbidden knowledge of you being so proud and so arrogant. You can't admit that you didn't do well. Everyone has a bad day. I have bad days myself. But you've got to be humble enough to admit that you've had a bad day. Not, I was sick and I felt ambushed. I felt betrayed by my best friend. I didn't have all the necessary information at hand. So what? So what? Like, you are an adult, right? You claim to be an expert in this field. Even experts that aren't fully prepared. I understand people need some people need to be prepared. I get it. But even experts that aren't prepared are able to think about a way to respond about the thing that they know a lot about, right? It should go without saying. But I think Billy had Dr. Amen on to use Dr. Amen, in my personal opinion, to sit down and talk to Dr. Amen about the so-called trauma that Billy experienced. And then Dr. Amen would say, yes, I can see all the signs, and, try to make Billy to look like he is in the right. And I saw some of the comments, and this person goes, hey, Billy, if it wasn't your best, at your best, and you say you were near death, why not just run it back now when you're well? And then the other person says, we know why. bingo. And then Forbidden Knowledge actually comments going, Billy Carson was right. And then a link to a video. And then the other person underneath goes, about what? Billy, just admit to lie about the Bible and be humble, nothing more. Don't compare the whole religion to people that said bad things to you. I wish you all good. Like it shouldn't be that hard, right? But it is hard for someone like Billy because it's his reputation. He's built this reputation. He's got an enormous following. He's making lots of money over this one particular thing, right? And you had someone dismantle it and show him up. And whether or not he thought that he was ambushed, which, to be honest, I don't think he was, he could have stopped it at any time. He could have walked away at any time. He could have not chosen to do it if he wasn't feeling well. But he thought, I'm the guy that is going to, and even in the actual debate, you can see Billy was trying to defeat Wes, but Wes had receipts. Wes knew what he was doing. Wes had watched lots of videos about Billy. Billy had nothing. He had the thought or the presumption of, oh, this guy is a nobody. He's not going to really know too much about the Sinai Bible, which is what lots of people don't really know too much about. But spoiler alert, Wes knew. And I don't think the host was there to really set up Billy in any kind of way, shape, or form. I think he just wanted to have a good debate. Like, that's what I thought. Good faith. But it's not a good thing to show people that you're a liar and then try and defend the lie because you're stuck. You shot yourself in the foot. Just admit, be humble, and leave it at that. Move on. Okay? People can accept the fact that you did the wrong thing. You lied. At least you can admit that you lied. Don't use somebody else, Dr. Amen, who happens to be a Christian as well. Don't use Dr. Amen and his expertise to make yourself look good. That's just, to me, that's narcissistic, and that's dangerous. But anyway, just pray for Billy. Pray that he comes to repentance and he actually sees God for who God really is. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough from me, but you guys take care. You be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.